Hi, this is Dan Jessup of Jessup Insurance and Retirement Services. Medicare can be very complicated and frustrating. The saying that you've heard all of your life, work smarter, not harder, is excellent advice for most things in life, including Medicare. At Jessup Insurance and Retirement Services, we help you become smarter about Medicare, saving you time by simplifying the whole process and helping you avoid all the frustration. Why not work smarter, not harder? Call us at Jessup Insurance, 435-213-3200, or Google Jessup Insurance.
Jessup Insurance and Retirement Services. Let us guide you. KVNU.
The following is a paid program of commercial time on KVNU. The information, offers, and claims are solely those of the sponsor and not the opinions of this station, its affiliates, management, or employees. It's time for the Garden Guide with your host, Mark Anderson from Anderson Seed and Garden.
New research suggests that people are more likely to eat vegetables if they have a tempting name.
What would life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only two things that money can't buy, and that's true love and homegrown tomatoes.
From gardening to landscaping.
Today we are going to try and create garden eyebrows. Kind of like the flowers are sprouting directly from your hair. That makes sense.
Phone lines are open at 753-KVNU or 800-369-KVNU.
Kind of like eating vegetables.
It's the Garden Guide, now on KVNU 610 AM and 102 FM.
And we welcome you to the show on another wintry-like Saturday morning. Mark Anderson from Anderson Seed and Garden joining us in the studio. We'll feel right along with you. And, you know, I think, Mark, most of us at this point would do anything to trade our snow shovel for a garden shovel at this point.
There you go. Yeah, it feels like the end of January this morning than it does the end of March. It's like, go figure.
Yeah.
We've had cold weather before the end of March and snow, but not with that much snow on the ground already. So,
and
yeah,
you know, yesterday,
kinda odd.
my wife was joking with me because I thought, maybe there's a little break in the storm. I'm going to go try to do a quick run around the neighborhood that I like to do on my lunch break, and I timed it just horribly because the blizzard just came in and I just got blasted. And she's like, "Why do you do that to yourself?"
There were some big snowflakes.
Oh,
too,
huge!
Just like big snowflakes,
and the wind was just whipping them, and It made for some very cold-like temperatures yesterday. And, you know, we're talking about the home and garden show that's going on right now. We're talking about gardening, and a lot of people are just saying, what is going to happen with the gardens this year?
That's something we can talk about today. Yeah. Because really, it's going to be a little late to start a few things, but really it's not going to affect the way everything grows in the middle of summer. You know, last year with a lot of 100-degree temperatures probably affected plants more than what a late start to spring's going to do. So it's not as drastic as it feels right now.
If anything, can we hope that at least we're going to have some more moisture into that ground, so that hopefully once we get seeds in, they should just take off. Yeah. And what's going to happen is we've got cold and wet, and then we're going to get 2 weeks of warm and dry. And it's not going to be just like 50 degrees warm and dry. It's going to be like 60s and 70s warm and dry, which is nice because we really need to get some of our snowpack to start to melt off. Yeah. Because if you look at the graphs they've been putting on the news, and I saw in one of the articles on about the snowpack, we're already at the peak and surpassed the peak of like 83, but the peak in 83 hit about the first part of May. Yeah.
And so, like, it accumulated, like the snow in the mountains accumulated for another 6 to 7 weeks.
After that.
And then when it hit the peak, then it just turned 90 degrees and it just all went and just all melted. So you can see this just like precipitous drop in snowpack.
Like a cliff.
Yeah, that happens in like 2 weeks. And usually our snow runoff kind of happens within that 2 to 3 week period. We want that to be much longer. Yeah, we want that longer. So we need some nice 70-degree temperatures down here that are going to get us excited about the weather, but it's going to start to move that snowpack. Because, I mean, if it's 50 degrees here, then, 50 degrees here doesn't really do much for the snowpack up there.
I mean,
it's still like 30 degrees up there. So that's kind of we need those nice 60, 70 degree temperatures down here to get that snow to start to move so we can fill up the river at the moment.
Yes. Slowly.
Yes, because we want that river to be pretty full for like the next 2 months, not sporadically full.
All of a sudden in mid-May, early June.
Yeah, and then have it all just come down at once. But hey, we had a blast at the Home and Garden Show yesterday.
Talking with a lot of people that went through there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we've got pansies and we've got gorgeous helleborus, and at the store we've got bare root fruit trees. Like all of our fruit trees are almost in right now, and we just got strawberries this week, and we got a new batch of onions came in. Potatoes are here, blueberries are here, grapes showed up. I think it was Thursday, and so like everything's here. We're like ready to go. And nobody can dig a hole in the ground.
So that's a good idea we can talk about as well. Is that what can you do? Because a lot of us, we want to plant a new peach tree, or we want to plant another apricot tree.
Yeah.
And we're thinking, okay, it's in stock right now.
Right.
What can I do? Maybe to just grab it now while the selection is so good and the prices are so good, but then just maybe store it for another couple of weeks before the ground is ready.
Right. And so I've had a lot of people coming in, and they have actually just purchased the trees that they wanted because they don't want us to run out when when there's a big rush of people that come in when the sun finally comes out. And so they have, we can wrap them up in plastic, and all you got to do is just keep the root system a little bit moist, but storing them in the garage or in the shed, where you've got consistent temperatures around 35 to even 50 degrees is going to be great. They'll be fine for like weeks. It's just like putting it in the refrigerator and just kind of letting it just sit there for a while. And most people don't have walk-in refrigerators. They can just put their trees in. But right now the garage is working great. So working quite nicely. The other thing you can do is we've got pots, and you can put those plants in pots. Put soil in around
put a
them,
little soil
water them really well, and just put them in a spot where they're kind of protected outside. They're not going to get frozen too hard. We've got some cold temperatures the next couple of days, but I think the forecast for this morning was like 12, and I just drove down. It was like 25, 26. So it really wasn't as cold as they were saying. It was.
And National Weather Service is saying that Monday we are looking at some sun to finally come through these clouds.
Nice.
And so
nice. Sun would be great.
A little bit could happen today and tomorrow, so we're kind of hoping for that as well.
I looked out there to the west as I came to the radio station. It's like, I see some blue sky there. Maybe
we can hope.
Maybe the sun will come out and melt a bunch of this off today. So, but it's nice. The daylight hours are definitely much longer, and so when the sun does come out, it's got a lot more. It's got a lot more kick to it. So. We just need some sunshine.
We do. So we're taking your calls about all things gardening, getting your lawns ready, and that's one thing that we had before this last storm. Our backyard completely was bare.
Oh, it was yeah.
And so we need to talk about how you can start.
I looked out there Thursday,
ready.
And I was like, man, if it weren't for those big piles of snow or the snowblower threw all the snow, it's like I could put my fertilizer out today, and then. Boom, yesterday. Done. It's like gone.
We lost it.
We lost all of that progress that we made. No, it'll be right back.
And it'll melt off quickly. So we'll talk about lawns today. We'll talk about how to be able to get your gardens ready as we start getting close. And we can take your calls, 753-5868, 1-800-369-5868. You mentioned the garden show, the Home and Garden Show, that will be continuing again today. Doors opening at 9 o'clock and continuing all day at the George S. Eccles Ice Arena in North Logan. And if you were to kind of summarize, is some of the main questions that you're getting this year kind of people saying, when will I be able to plant? When can I?
Let's see. That's a really great question. So yesterday we talked about a lot of different things with people. We helped them kind of start to plan their vegetable gardens so that when the snow does melt, they can get out there and get things planted. Helped diagnose a bunch of problems for people that had some evergreens and some deciduous trees as well too. We talked about preventing aphids. Talked a lot about fruit trees and pruning, helped people with a lot of pruning. So just a lot of questions in general on everything that everybody's kind of worried about what's going to happen here in the next couple of weeks. But hey, we've got like I said, we've got gorgeous pansies. We've got a beautiful booth. I mean, there's tons and tons of flowers, and it really makes you feel like spring when you come see the booth. But yesterday we sold a lot of seeds, so we've got some seed collections at the Home and Garden Show. That we've got some wildflower mixes, we've got some vegetable garden collections as well too. So we've got some nice things to share with people, and a lot of information in the calendar that we're giving out. We're giving out calendars. We've got our seed list, and we've got our grass information as well too. So kind of covered a little bit of everything yesterday. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a very productive day. We had a lot of people come to visit with us, and today, if the weather's not so great, it's a great place for you to come. Yeah.
Get out from the cold weather and come on in. And
we are giving away a couple prizes, though. So Logan Extermination is giving away a set of pruning shears. So we've got a hand pruner, a hedge shear, and also a lopper that we're giving away. So it's about a $50 value, and so we're giving that away. And it's really easy to sign up. All you got to do is just scan our QR code with your phone and just pop a couple information fields together and done. And so it's like super quick and easy.
So you don't have to be present to win. You'll contact the
don't
winner
have to be present to win. And then Anderson's, we're giving away a little mini greenhouse that has a heat mat. It's got a heavy-duty tray for starting seeds in, and then it has a 7-inch greenhouse dome with vents on it that you can actually put artificial light right into as well too. So like a full spectrum light you can put into it. And so we're giving away we're giving away 3 of those. And we've got some seed collections to give away as well too. So we got some good stuff. And then if you sign up for the drawing, it just kind of automatically asks you if you want to vote for Best of Northern Utah as well too.
Oh, yes.
For Anderson's or for Logan Extermination. So if you're listening and you haven't voted for Best of Northern Utah, you should vote for us. Absolutely. Yeah.
You got what's 6 days left to get your vote in?
Right.
Voting
Does
will
it go through the 29th? Through the 29th.
Yep.
Yeah. So you can vote. You can vote
once per day.
Every day. Yeah. You can vote every day. So I am not the most diligent of voter. My wife,
I've done pretty good. I think I missed
me.
1 or 2 days.
She like bugs me. She's like, you gotta vote. And it's like, I've got stuff to do. But get on there and vote. Get on there and vote for us, and come out and see us at the Home and Garden Show, and we'll visit and we'll have a good time, and we'll talk about what we have in our future.
Yes, because it is going to be a great future for gardening, especially as we start to melt off this snow.
Yeah. So just we've got a couple callers.
We do. Yeah. Let's start off with Neil, who's joining us on the line from North Logan. Neil, welcome to the show this morning.
Thanks for taking my call. Have a question. I have some tree treats that I was going to put in an apple tree that we have last year. Didn't get around to it. Is it too early to do that? Do I need to wait till things get warmer? Tell me what kind of timeline to look for as far as doing those tree treats.
Really, traditionally, I would say right now would be an excellent time to put those in. And so I think here in the next 2 or 3 weeks would be absolutely perfect. In fact, I did one of my father's trees, apple trees, last year that was kind of struggling. It had some damage on some of the trunk, on some of the scaffold branches, not on the trunk. And we had to take a couple branches out as well too. It's just kind of been in decline for a few years, and so we did those implants on that tree, and it just like went crazy last year. Like it had so much fruit on it, and it really took off. So those tree treats would be excellent to get in as early as possible. I just kind of wait for this little cold front to come through, where we're not getting teen temperatures at night, and you should be great. It should be perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. They make a big difference because it's got the right amount of nitrogen there just to encourage some growth, but it's just full of micronutrients that sometimes those trees are lacking, and you'll see just much better growth on the tree, real healthy, and a lot of micronutrient corrections, like if you're a little iron deficient. So should be perfect.
Okay, thank you.
Neil, thanks for calling this morning. You have a wonderful weekend.
You too, thanks.
All right, thanks. Yep.
All right, and Kathy's joining us on the line. Kathy, thanks for holding. Welcome to the Garden Guy this morning.
Good morning. I was going to ask Mark this yesterday, and he wasn't there when I went by, so I
darn it.
didn't. Yeah, that's just the way things go.
It was one of those. It was one of those few moments
kind of
where I
I
went and grabbed something to eat, or had to answer a couple phone calls or something. So.
food's important when you're standing on that.
You know, my little toe, my little toes get icicles on them. Sometimes I just got to go like run around the exterior of the ice arena just to break those off a little bit. So.
Okay, so we were passing by somebody's booth yesterday, and they had these flowers. I think she said they're called ranunculus or something like that.
Ranunculus, yes, ranunculus.
Ranunculus.
Yes.
Okay. Do they grow well here? How long do they flower? Is it a short thing, a shade thing? What do I have? Those are beautiful.
The ranunculus are gorgeous, aren't they? They are spring flowering bulbs, and so they will bloom for a 3 to 4 weeks, maybe a little bit longer, depending on how cool the temperatures are. But they usually will start them in the greenhouses so that they will be blooming early in the spring. But they won't bloom all summer. Unfortunately, it would be amazing if they would bloom all summer. But they're just like a month long, and then they're done. But they are so pretty, just like these balls of color. Yeah, just these bright balls of color. So
they're so pretty. The second flower, and it wasn't there, is a carnation. I used to grow carnations, but I didn't live in Idaho at the time. Can you grow carnations around here that regrow every year?
You sure can. So perennial carnations actually do really well. Should not be a problem to grow those. They will come back year after year, and you're going to get, again, depending on what the weather does, bloom period of 3 to 5 weeks where they'll just like go. And carnations are in the dianthus family, if I'm not mistaken. And so we carry a lot of different dianthus. There's some that are more carnation looking than others, but they should do just great. Absolutely.
What do I have to do to prepare soil for them? What kind of soil do they need?
Full sun, well-drained soil, not too much clay, and maybe...
Turn up your radio. Here's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
Oop, there we go. Ooh,
Okay.
Old Sean Hannity tried to break into the show there for a minute. So
clear that off here.
A little acidifier would probably not be a bad idea either. So some sulfur to kind of bring the pH down. That should work great.
Okay, last question.
Yes.
My roses are still covered with snow because the roof right where it goes off, it hits them.
Slides on top of
What do I
it.
need to be doing? Yeah, on them.
Yeah. Usually we are telling people, hey, conference weekend is time to prune your roses. I still have high hopes that maybe by next weekend that snow's going to be gone.
Could be.
I got my fingers crossed and my toes as well too. But anytime after that snow melts, you would be fine to go ahead and prune those and fertilize and get them growing. Because I think we're just gonna go right from winter into late spring is what's gonna happen, and the soil's really cold, so things are gonna be slow to come out. Last year, trees were very slow to break out and to flower and to put leaves on because we had such a cold, wet spring. So we did have some really nice temperatures in March, but then April was cold and wet, cold and wet, cold and wet. We had a couple snowstorms as well too, and it was the end of April by the time everything started to flower and to leaf out.
Yeah.
I'm afraid we're going to be in the same boat this year. It's going to be the end of April, 1st of May, maybe even. So we'll see what happens.
Well, it was nice at the Home and Garden Show yesterday because it felt a little springy in there to me.
It did. Yeah. Did you like our booth? I thought it was really colorful and pretty.
Yes, and it was so pretty. It was so pretty. The flowers were amazing.
Our whole goal this year was to just kind of let everybody feel like spring is around the corner. It's coming. So
there is hope.
Yes, there is. There is. Cool.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thanks for calling this morning, Kathy. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And both Neil and Kathy brought it up. I've started to see a few people around our neighborhood pruning.
Oh, yeah.
And, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Even though, there's still snow on the ground, if you're okay getting up on a step ladder to be able to get up over those trees, this is a great time to be able to get those fruit trees pruned.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So our crews were out pruning like crazy this week before yesterday. So I don't think they did much pruning yesterday.
Yeah, in the snow.
A little dangerous for them to be out with, saws and, chainsaws and things like that in the snow. I prefer them to stay safe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's much better that way. But really great time to go ahead and prune. It's a little bit early for a dormant spray, so we're not doing much dormant sprays yet. The temperatures at night are a little bit too cold, and so we're hoping that we get some warmer temperatures to be able to do that as well too. But great time to get out there and prune. And what I usually tell people is the first thing you want to look for is anything that's dead, damaged, diseased, or broken. And those are the first things to come out. Those could be some bigger branches. It's nice to take out the big stuff first because because it just takes a lot of time to do a lot of the small detail work. And if you take a bunch of big branches out first, then that makes your detail work smaller. But if you start with the small stuff first, then go, oh dang, I really should take that branch out, then you've already worked on it, and you just wasted 10 or 15 minutes of your time. So we definitely want to do that. Then I'll look for at that point, anything that's like crossing over or rubbing up against another branch or is going to kind of cross over in the near future as it grows, and then growth that's coming back into the center of the tree. And then I'll look at the main scaffold branches and then the secondary scaffolds and just kind of take out weak crotches, branches that are really too open or too very narrow. Those crotches, those are the weakest parts of the tree, and so we want like nice 45-degree angles, 50-degree angles. Those are going to be like your strongest branches, and so we'll kind of start eliminating some of the weaker branches, so that when we do get snow later in the spring, or we get an early snowstorm in the fall, or we get too much fruit on the tree, it doesn't break all the branches off. So try and find those stronger branches and eliminate some of the weaker ones, and then at that point we'll take all the water sprouts off. So all the water sprouts, the new suckers that just shoot right off the top of the branches that just shoot straight up, those all need to come off every single year. So those all come out as well too. Then we get in there and start thinning some of the branches out so that the tree's not so crowded. We got to get the sunlight in there. I've heard some old-time orchardists talk about once you're done pruning, you need to be able to have enough space between the branches to be able to throw a cat through the tree. So,
Okay.
not that we throw cats at our place, but I've heard that mentioned.
That was just
that was
the old orchard.
Yeah, that was
tale.
the saying that they would have. There's got to be enough room to throw a cat through the tree. So get that thinned out, and then you can start redirecting branches to go into some of the areas where maybe you had to take a big branch out and you want some growth to come over in there and just kind of trim it up at
Fill
that
the
point.
holes a little.
Yeah. So our fruit growing guide, which I have at the Home and Garden Show and I also have at the store, has some really great pruning instructions in there. So it walks you through all the parts of the tree so you can identify those, shows you what they look like on the tree and how those crotches of those main branches, those scaffold branches should be, and it shows you like all the terminal buds and the spurs where the fruit's going to develop, so you can identify those pieces on your tree. Then when you're pruning, you can feel comfortable doing some pruning and really feel like you're not going to kill the tree. And that's what it comes down to. Is like a lot of people want to prune, but they're just like afraid they're going to do damage that's not like repairable on the tree, and so they don't. And so they just don't do it. Then they have to call somebody else to come in and do it, and maybe that only happens every 2 or 3 years. So the tree only gets pruned every 2 or 3 years. But if you get comfortable where you feel like, hey, I can prune this and not do any permanent damage to my tree, then you're much more likely to get out there and do the pruning, and it will work nicely. And then the more you do, the more comfortable you get, and the better at it you become. And it's kind of like just you got to get out there and practice. Just got to get out there and practice.
Just like mowing the lawn, just a nice pruning every year really helps that tree.
Got to do it.
All right, well, let's go back out to the phone lines before our bottom of the hour break. We have Gordon joining us on the line from Newton. Gordon, welcome to the show.
Good morning, gentlemen. How we doing?
Doing great. Gordon.
It's still snowing gently in Newton, but if you look out to the west, there's a beautiful band of blue just over the mountain.
Thanks for encouraging us, Gordon.
Hope springs eternal. And I looked on the radar, and the storm is really broken up. We don't have anything coming behind it. So
nice.
We have hope for the day anyway.
Let's hope.
I came in Thursday to the store and bought a bag of humates. When it finally does stop snowing, then I'll start throwing humates on top of my snow piles, and we'll get them melted down. But right now, boy, we sure got a bunch. So
lots of snow out there. It's like I got a message from my wife last night about 6:30. She got home from work and she's like, I think there's 10 inches of snow on our driveway. It's like, what?
Yeah. Yep.
It just didn't stop yesterday.
It just kept coming.
Well, it's definitely time to stop praying for moisture. I think Newton Dam is going to get filled up. So,
well, we have reached a record for the state. So I believe we have a full year's worth of water. So if we don't get any storms during the summer, we've got quite a bit. So,
well, it's been interesting. So, with the pruning, I have an apple tree that it's grown up next to a big old Scotch pine, and the Scotch pine grew all through it. And so this poor apple tree has got really rangy and kind of spread.
Sure.
Am I better off to do a gentle prune, or am I better off to do a fairly major pruning and kind of get it down? I cut a couple of the big branches off the pine that were reaching in through the apple tree last fall, and I just wondered, is it time to kind of do a major pruning, take it down fairly heavily?
If you prune really heavy, you're going to have a lot of growth that comes back and a lot of water sprouts. And so usually we'll say, hey, if you really need to do some serious pruning on the tree, do it over a 2 to 3 year period and just gradually.
That's what I wondered.
Just gradually take it down. So we usually shoot for about 25%. Is a nice number to kind of shoot for. We're going to take about 25% of the tree off, and the water sprouts that I take off each year, I don't count in the 25%. Because those have to come off just like every year, no matter what. But it sounds like you may want to get in there and just do some thinning cuts and just kind of thin some of the branches out so it can kind of open the tree up, get some air, get some sunlight in there, and hopefully encourage some growth. So again, Gordon, anything that's growing over the top of each other, it's going to cross over, rub up against it. Stuff that's shooting back into the middle, just start taking that out, and then just start thinning some of the branches out, because it's just, if they haven't got pruned for a while, they'll just kind of get overgrown and taken out. But you say there's a spruce close by?
It's a Scotch pine.
Scotch pine.
And so
there you go.
The branches have kind of gone, and so it's grown weirdly in and around the branches on this big pine tree. So I thought I'd kind of take some ends down, and like I say, I cut some of the branches off the pine and just kind of get it shaped back down. It's fairly open, but it comes in just is tall and rangy and kind of goes all over the place. It's been ignored for a few years.
So kind of shoot for maybe a third of what you really need to take out this year, and then the third next year, and then the third the year after. And then what I've been encouraging people the last few years is, after you're done pruning, do your dormant spray, but also fertilize your trees. A really good time to fertilize is after you're done pruning, and get a little bit of food out there for them so you can get some new growth. And it's funny when I tell people, hey, after you're done pruning, you should fertilize your trees. They're like, oh,
really?
You got to fertilize your trees? It's like, well, yeah. It's like if they're out there in the same spot for 30 years, they're going to use up like all the nutrient out there. So, make sure and fertilize those trees every year. And it's amazing how much more productive they are when you fertilize
Once
them.
you fertilize.
Yeah. Makes
and I have some tree treats left from last year, and so this one in particular, I figured I would do tree treats.
Honestly, on my dad's old Lodi tree last year, I mean, we've been looking at it. Dad and I looked at it many years ago, and he was just like ready to take it out. I was like, no, let's see if we can get it to go. Let's see if we can get it to keep coming, because it's just a great tree. It's my favorite pineapple tree ever. Yep. And last year we did those tree treats on it, and I'll tell you, that tree just like really came out of it, and it's looked better than it has for the last 5 years. So probably going to do it again this year. Really get things going. So big difference.
Well, as soon as I dare stick a ladder into the snow pile that's under it.
I know. Yeah. My poor pruning crews are just, they're just chomping at the bit to get out there and do stuff. And they've been very active this week. And then yesterday, it's just like, nope, guys, not going to happen.
You get in there and it's easy just to stepping on the snow to twist the ankle or turn a knee.
Yeah, exactly. That's when it's like, okay, get out in the shop and let's sharpen all of our tools and get things cleaned up, and maybe we'll call it a short day today, but let's get some stuff done while we can. So
well, blue sky coming. It's starting to open up. In fact, I can see a little sunshine.
All right.
Thanks. It's coming in. So.
Thanks for the.
All right. Well, thanks. Enjoy chatting with you. We'll talk to you later.
All right. See you, Gordon.
All right. Bye.
Bye. All right. Phone lines are open, 753-5868, 753-KVNU. And we would love to have you join us here on the Garden Guide. We're just talking spring.
That's right, because it is coming. So join us coming up. We've got our bottom of the hour break, but we'll be back and can take more of your calls. Again, for the Garden Guide with Mark Anderson of Anderson Seed and Garden.
I'm Bill Walter, KVNU News. On KVNU's monthly Speak to the Mayor program this past Wednesday, Logan City Mayor Holly Dane said the city has recently updated its transportation master plan, which is done about every 10 years. She said the draft will be sent to the Planning Commission in April with opportunities for citizens to make comments at public hearings before the commission. Dane said one thing she took note of as she read through the report was the condition of city roads.
They have done, as part of this plan, a pavement assessment report.
Oh, really?
And again, approximately 60% of the roadways in the city were assessed as in satisfactory or good condition. 21% were in fair condition, and the remaining 19% were in poor condition. So, we know we have some work cut out, but when you look at the overall diagram, I was pretty pleased that 60% was in good or satisfactory condition.
She said that is good news when compared to other Utah cities, such as Salt Lake City, where a good part of their roads are reportedly in bad shape. First District Congressman Blake Moore has proposed new legislation that could allow Medicare recipients faster access to breakthrough medical devices approved by the FDA. The Ensuring Patient Access to Critical Breakthrough Products Act of 2023 is a bipartisan proposal that requires Medicare to temporarily cover the cost of breakthrough medical products. Chance of snow showers through the weekend, continued unseasonably cold as well. High temperatures in the upper 20s, lows from 10 to 15. You can always get more news at CashValleyDaily.com. I'm Bill Walter, KVNU News.
From ABC Sports, I'm Mark Remillard. No more number ones remain after the Sweet 16 last night, with the final region leaders each falling, starting with the best in the nation, Crimson Tide.
That'll do it for the first time in NCAA history. Not only are the San Diego State Aztecs going to the Elite Eight, but the Mountain West will be represented.
Tom McCarthy, Westwood with the call. San Diego State shocked Alabama in the second half with a 12-0 run, lifting them out of an 11-point deficit. The Aztecs advanced to the Elite Eight, 71-64 the final. After San Diego State's win, only one number one team remained, Houston, but Miami made sure that didn't last for long.
Back again, three, top of the key, he's got it again!
Westwood won radio with the call. Nigel Pack had a hot hand for the Hurricanes with 26 points. Miami advances comfortably with an 89-75 win. This is ABC Sports.
Good morning, skiers and boarders. It's your Beaver Mountain Snow Report for Saturday, March 25th. We had a total of 113 inches, with 12 inches new in the last 24 hours, 5 of that falling after the list closed yesterday. Surface conditions are machine-packed and plenty of new cold snow powder. Today we'll be running all 4 chairs. That's Little Beaver, The Face and the Dream from 9 to 4, and Marge's Triple from 9 to 3:30. Roads to the mountain are snow-packed, but they have been plowed and sanded. Just a light wind this morning, and at 6 a.m. it was still snowing. We had a high yesterday of 28, a low last night of 13, and at 6 o'clock this morning it was also 13. About a 70% chance of another 1 to 3 inches today and a high of around 19. So come on up to Beaver Mountain.
Hi everyone, it's Congressman Blake Moore here. My staff is looking forward to traveling throughout the 1st District, hosting mobile office hours on March 27th and 28th. They will be in Davis, Weber, and Cache counties and available to address casework, resolve issues with federal agencies, and hear how we can best serve you. We're here to help. Be sure to go to my website and sign up for our weekly e-newsletter, and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Rep. Blake Moore for more updates and announcements. Thank you. Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Good morning, this is your Cherry Peak Ski Report for Saturday, March 25th, 2023. Live from the Snowcat, we have a mid-mountain base depth of 70 inches with 9 new inches in the past 24 hours. Over the past 48 hours, 15 new inches of the cold white smoke powder. Yes, it's Utah powder, and winter is back. Cold temps, great snow. Today's operational hours are 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. day skiing and 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. for night skiing. We'll be operating Gateway Triple Chairlift, Vista Triple Chairlift, and come experience the summit with all the great new Utah powder. We'll also be operating the Magic Carpet. This will service the Tubing Hill and Bunny. We also make sure that you sign your digital waiver before arrival for all tubing tickets. Well, the time is getting soon, so yes, our annual pass sale will be expiring and prices do increase. Get your whole family involved for as little as $749 and over 30 reciprocal partnering resorts to ski for free. Go to skicpr.com for any further information and details. We'll catch you at the peak.
From gardening to landscaping, it's the Garden Guide on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
And we welcome you back to the show, 8:40 now on this Saturday morning as we're sitting with 25 degrees outside the KVNU studios. And
that's better than 12.
That's right. And we were
12.
Supposed to be in the single digits overnight, so we'll take it.
Absolutely.
And after the blizzard we had yesterday, you said about 10 inches in the driveway?
At my house. So kind of brutal.
We would have had 10 inches. I was dedicated. I shoveled first thing yesterday morning about 5 a.m., and that helped keep the snow from collecting. I found that if I shovel early, then
it just kind of
sometimes it'll just keep it melted
off a little bit during the day. But yeah, I'm a little closer to the mountain, so
that doesn't help either.
I kept dropping all day. Darn it! So.
All right, well, we've got a full line of phone calls. Let's go right to the phones. We have Janet joining us on the line from Franklin. Janet, welcome to the show.
Hey guys. And I'm sorry, 10 inches is kind of lightweight, just so you know.
Yeah, I heard other areas had like 13, so.
Yeah, we were well over a foot. And I'm in the mouth of a canyon, and so it is what it is. Yeah. But my question, and I've looked all over online, and I just can't find an answer to this. I bought, a bunch. I had taken my tulips out like you do, Mark. Sometimes I refresh my tulip beds because they needed it. And so I took all my tulips out, and I put all my amendments in, and I didn't get them back in. Winter caught me before I could get my bulbs back in.
I know the feeling. Yeah.
Anyways, and so I have all those, but I bought hundreds more, too, several from your place.
Yeah.
And I've got all these. They've been in my house, and I don't know what to do with them. I mean, we don't even have 6 weeks of cold. I don't have room in my refrigerator. I don't have a garage, and it's so cold. They've been in my house, and they're starting to grow. And I was just wondering, can I stick them in pots and hope for the best?
Absolutely.
What can I do?
Absolutely. Got to get those planted, or else they're going to just shrivel up and dry, and then they're going to be worthless.
They're viable at this point in time, and so I'm really worried.
And so big pots, they don't have to be really deep. All you need is really about 6 inches of depth, and you would be fine. And you don't have to plant them that deep. You can plant them so that they're just an inch below the surface. We just got to get them growing. They're not gonna flower for you if they don't get the cold, but they will at least get some root system going. They'll get some leaves up. They'll be able to store some strength. And so start putting them in pots. Potting soil would work great. And as soon as you can get them outside, you can actually take them in the pots and just plant the pots right outside. Let them grow in the pots for a while.
That was what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Just outside. Okay.
Yep. And that would save their lives. We just got to save their lives at this point. So. Yeah.
It seriously has bothered me all winter, and I kept saying, "Well, I'll have 6. I'll take care of it when it quits snowing." Yeah. Well, yeah. So. Oh, well. I also have a friend who's got a wedding at her house, and she bought 1,000 bulbs.
Yeah.
And same thing happened. She only got a couple in, and. So is there any way to control? You just said if they don't get the cold, they're just not going to flower.
Correct. And so you can plant them and just get them to come up and have leaves. They just won't produce a flower bud. They need that 8 to 10 to 12 weeks of cold storage for them to produce a flower bud. But at this point, we just want to get them in the ground, get them growing, get some leaves up, and let them photosynthesize and gather some strength. And then you could, after they're done growing, end of May, 1st of June, you could just dig them back up again and then make sure and get them planted in like September of this this coming fall. I don't even want to talk about fall right now. So
we just want to see some summer and spring.
It's like I don't even talk about fall and winter of next year yet because I'm just. No.
I know. Well, and I kept thinking, well, we always have like at least one little warm spot in November. It always happens.
It does.
And so I'm like, okay, I bet it didn't happen.
It did not happen this year. I know. I was going to do the same thing, and I was going to get the rest of my garden tilled and just get a couple things done. And it didn't happen. Didn't happen. So
I feel you. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I was hoping I could do more, but I knew it was super late. So, and no one online knows how it is here.
No, exactly. And so, absolutely. And we've done this before, and I've got a few bulbs at the store that were like carried over, but they've been out in the cold, so they've been outside, so they have not frozen, but they have been cold, so they could actually bloom. So we're trying to decide whether to just hurry and throw those in a flower bed somewhere. I was really tempted to do it the other day when the snow was like melted out of a couple of my flower beds, and then it snowed again yesterday. It's just like, dang, it's like same story.
Yeah, my yard wants to grow. If there is any dirt showing, and like there was a tiny bit around a post, and a weed was growing, and I'm like, and my plants want to grow.
They do.
They gotta have the snow.
Yep. They can sense that the daylight hours are getting longer, and so things are starting to happen. So it won't be long. We're getting close.
Okay, yay! All right. Well, thank you.
Thanks so much for calling. Have a great one.
Bye-bye.
Yep. Bye-bye.
All right, and back out to the phone lines. We have Todd joining us on the line from Logan. Todd, welcome to the show.
I'm doing great. I just want my Christmas cookies ordered.
Yes.
Well, it is that time of year for Girl Scouts. Do they have Christmas cookies? They should.
I don't know. I was telling Mark yesterday I went to a store locally here, and jokingly I asked them for some Christmas cookies, and they had to stop and we'll go check, and they came back. Sorry, we don't do that. And I'm going, well, darn it, I'm just giving you a bad time. So anyway, hey, Mark, I have, you remember I got some June J raspberries last year?
Yes, I do.
And I transplanted those. I'm going to give you a quick highlight follow-up. I planted those. I got some green leaves on most of them, until my 5-year-old nephew came and pulled them out.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he pulled them out, and then I tried to retransplant them again. Well, half of them made it, half of them didn't, and one of my blackberries bushes did not make it. Do I lose faith on it, or what should I do to revamp them?
Those Joan Jays are pretty aggressive, so even if you only got half of them to grow, you're going to get that many more and then some that come up this year from the root system. And so they're fairly aggressive growers. So even if you, like, say you get 10 plants and only 5 of them go, you'll have probably 15 plants this year. So they'll really take off. So I wouldn't get too discouraged, because just even the ones that you got to take, they should take off, and they should do really well. You could add a couple back in there this year. We're hoping to have Joan Jays. Right now, our regular raspberries are coming from Weeks, Berries of Paradise, and they have 2 feet of snow out there right now. So I don't think we're going to have berries for like at least another 10 days to 2 weeks, and so it's going to be April is when we're going to be selling raspberries, and
I was just
we'll
curious
see what happens.
Because I was wondering, once I got the plants, I was supposed to cut them down to the bare root. But they came cut, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I guess I don't cut them.
I once I get mine planted and they're like 12 inches tall, I usually cut them down to 6 or 8 inches. But if they leafed out, that's great. I'm usually looking for growth that's coming from the root system. I don't worry so much about the canes that are existing, because those are last year's canes. They'll leaf out, but they're not really going to do anything. It's new growth that's coming up from the root system is what we really want. So.
Okay. And I sent you some pictures of up at our cabin at Logan Canyon.
Yeah.
We have a gate, and we have a little, what are they called? The racers, And the racer is just underneath the gate.
Yeah.
And the gate is it's very tall. very tall. And my brother was up there a couple weeks ago, and he said, standing up, flat-footed, he could touch the top of the sign. That's how much snow there is up there.
That's there's a lot of feet up there.
Yeah, so I decided I'd share that picture with you. So I sent it
awesome.
to you guys.
Well, thank you.
I sent it to you guys so you could see it.
That sounds good.
All righty. Hey, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks for calling in, Todd.
And Will, when you're done, when spring finally gets here, you can come and help me dig holes for my plants in my front yard.
Hey, I'd be more than happy to trade my snow shovel for a garden shovel. We were joking about that earlier.
I traded my garden shovel for a snow shovel yesterday.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate
You're
it.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Well, we have
Bye-bye.
Curtis, who's also joining us on the line from out in Clarkston. Curtis, welcome to the show this morning.
Good snowy morning.
Yes, it is.
Groundhog Day in a snow globe.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I just got part of the conversation on the tree treats, and
Yes.
I have a big ash tree. I done it last fall. You said probably do it again this next spring. And so I'm assuming from what I heard at the end of the conversation, that'd be a good time to do it now.
Yes, anytime in the next, anytime in the next 3 to 4 weeks before the trees leaf out is really the best time to do it, because we're starting to get warmer temperatures, and we're going to definitely get warmer temperatures than what we've got right now. And so if you can get that in before the sap really starts to flow through the trees, then it's going to pick up all that nutrient, run it through the tree, and you're going to see a big difference on your tree this year.
Okay, good. I'll be in and get another pack. It takes a whole pack for that tree. It's pretty big. But
Yeah, those bigger trees do a little bit. And so if you did some last year, just make sure and move about a foot or so up or down from where you did the last implants, and so you're not putting them in the same spots. But I have had some of my customers, some of my arborists, put them right in the same holes where they were last year. So you might, since you put holes in last fall, you could actually put them right in those same holes, and they'll still pick up that nutrient. And Dave Brown from Bicor, who makes the tree treats, he says they do the same thing. So,
okay,
all right,
I can check and see if I should be able to use the same ones again.
Yeah, it's good.
Second question: I want to move my raspberry patch, and I've heard always start with new, don't transplant on the raspberries. They've been good. I don't know what kind they are. They about take over the garden, but mainly what we're looking for on the new variety we go to is just hand to mouth. We have a lot of grandkids that come. They like to just go out and nibble on them.
Right.
But my wife does do a little of the jam and a few things, but mainly hand to mouth is what we'd like. So a never bearing or but you don't recommend moving the actual plants, do you?
You can. You sure can. And a lot of people do that because every 4 or 5 years they just get so overgrown and crowded. It's actually good to take some of those canes out and rejuvenate them. If you wanted to introduce a new variety to your patch, that variety that Todd and I were just talking about, Joan J, it is a thornless everbearing, and it's one of the nicest berries that we've ever grown. It's called Joan J. And I've got some at my house, and it is an amazing raspberry. And we should hopefully, I have my fingers crossed, get raspberries in the next couple of weeks if you wanted to do that. But you could definitely keep some of your existing plants, especially if they are appearing to be disease-free and are producing and growing and vigorous. Might as well reuse some of the ones you've got too.
Yeah, vigorous. The way I've been doing about every second or every third year, I just take them right to the ground with a chainsaw.
Yeah.
And then let them
let them rejuvenate.
Wife goes in.
Yeah.
She goes in and gets the dead out in the spring.
Good way to do that.
Good.
And for me, every time I prune them, which is twice a year, I fertilize. So fertilize with a high sulfur, high iron, high nitrogen fertilizer. That's what the raspberries really like. So Iron Plus works great. Yeah.
I have to put the chelate in them to keep them green.
Yeah.
I got to dump that in there. Well, I've got some other stuff from you earlier, but mainly when they start coming out or end of March, I usually try to get the iron chelate in them.
That makes a big difference.
Seems to take care of it.
Yep, your raspberries can pick up that iron almost instantly, so that's a great way to go.
Okay, we'll probably see you today at the garden show.
Oh,
then.
please come find us. Hey, thanks for calling in this morning, Curtis.
You bet.
All right.
Take care.
Have a good one.
And for those that maybe didn't catch our conversation earlier in the show, we've got the garden show that's coming up today, the home garden show. It'll be from 9 to 6. But then also, you mentioned earlier, all your bare roots have come in to the store.
Yeah.
Strawberries came in, too. Onions are in.
So we've got a new batch of onions this week. We've got potatoes, and the asparagus plants came. So I have purple passion and also Jersey Night on the asparagus plants. So they're ready to go. And then for all of our fruits, all of our fruit trees are in. There's maybe a few varieties we're still waiting for, but I've got one more batch coming here probably the next 10 days, 14 days. Our next batch will show up. But I've got a great selection of fruit trees right now. And then blackberries, blueberries, grapes showed up this week. Strawberries showed up this week, so we got a really nice selection of strawberries that showed up, and man, we're just ready to go at Anderson's, and the weather's not cooperating with us. It's just rude. Yeah,
just a little bit behind. Yeah.
So that's all right. So everything's here. I'm just like scratching my head, going, oh, we got currants, we got black currants, we got gooseberries, we got elderberries. I think like everything's like here,
and now we just need dirt.
Yeah, now we just need the dirt to show up. Yeah, it's like I'm going, God, do we have another shipment coming? I've got onions coming every single week. So if you can't plant your onions right now, it's fine, because I've got onions coming every week for the next 6 weeks. So don't worry about that. Potatoes will be coming every week as well too. Asparagus are like showing up every 2 or 3 weeks. Strawberries are showing up every 2 or 3 weeks. So we're sitting good there. It's the fruit trees. If there's some certain varieties that you really want, you gotta get them. Yeah, you gotta get them right away. I've got more grapes arriving in 3 weeks. I mean, stuff's just gonna keep rolling in for the next 6 weeks or so. And shrubs and shade trees and evergreens are going to start showing up here pretty soon as well too. I'm trying to push them back a week or 10 days so we don't have everything show up all at once on the same exact day, because that's
very difficult to unload and find a place
That's what's going to happen. Yeah. Hey, do we got a minute to get one more caller in?
Let's have Nancy join us. Nancy, thanks so much for calling this morning.
You're welcome. I am looking to move some trees. They're quite young, the peach tree, and then also we have like a sour cherry bush. How soon can I start moving those?
I would do it as quickly as possible so you can get them transplanted into their new location before they leaf out. So really, as soon as you can dig them up, I'd go for it. And what I would do is I would prune them back about 30 to 40%, because you're going to damage a lot of the root system as you dig those up. And so prune them back considerably, get them moved to their new location, hit them every time they need to be watered with a root stimulator like Kinga Roots, and they'll leaf out with all the rest of the trees when that time comes, end of April, first part of May. And they should be great. So I think your timing is perfect.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Good luck. Good luck with that.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks so much, Nancy. Have a great weekend.
Now, you also mentioned for those who are going to the garden show this weekend we should mention again, it's at the Ice Arena in North Logan. There's several giveaways that people can sign up for that you're going to be giving away today.
Yeah, so we've got a seed starting greenhouse. That's called a Sun Kit that we're giving away. They're about a $50 value. It's got a heat mat. It's got a heavy-duty tray. It's got a nice 7-inch tall greenhouse dome with vents in it. So a really nice seed starting kit. You can add an artificial, full spectrum light to it as well too. And so we're giving away one of those from Anderson Seed and Garden, and a bunch of seed collections as well too. So we've got multiple prizes to give away if you sign up for those. And then Logan Extermination is giving away a pruner set. So it's got a hand pruner, a head shear, and a lopper all in it. And so it's a nice little package. Yeah.
So you come by, scan the QR code.
Exactly.
And you're entered to win.
Yep. Scan the QR code, put your name, phone number, address, email in there so we know where to find you. And we'll do the drawing at the end of the day today, and we'll notify people probably on Monday who's, of course, everyone's a winner. But
that's right.
But then we'll have a few grand prize winners, and then we'll have a bunch of seed collections to give out as well, too. So, they're both about a $50 value on both those prizes. Okay. And then while you're at it, you can vote for us for the Best of Northern Utah as well.
Yeah. Voting ends Wednesday night, so you've still got several days to vote. You can vote once per day for Anderson Seed and Garden, and along with the other great businesses throughout northern Utah.
If you're feeling like you really need to feel and experience spring today, despite the snow outside, come find us at the Home and Garden Show, because our booth really is very springy. Yeah, like lots of flowers, lots of color. It just makes you feel like spring, even though you're standing on ice.
And it's outside.
It's outside. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll be talking more gardening coming up next week, and we're hoping for a little better weather next week as well.
Absolutely.
This storm's supposed to move out over the weekend. So we thank you for joining us here on the Garden Guide here on KVNU.
News at the top and bottom of the hour. News Talk KVNU. Logan, 610 AM and 102.1 FM. Proud to be locally owned and operated by the Cache Valley Media.